So good evening, everyone, and welcome to this pre-launch webinar for Waterkloof Park. My name is Stefan, and I'm the Director of Rainmaker Marketing. And I think on behalf of the developers, just welcome you to this session. The real objective of this is to give everyone unique insights into the development that they wouldn't be able to get normally, and to give you all the possible information tools that you might require prior to purchasing at Waterkloof Park, which we obviously believe is very exciting for the area and very unique in terms of product. And a lot of work and a lot of research has gone into creating the product that we are effectively unveiling to you. And one of the things we have said is that those who attend this evening's webinar will have access to the product prior to public. So we want to keep this relatively short. We know everyone's time is very valuable, so we hope to keep it between sort of 45 to 55 minutes, depending on the questions. And we really do encourage any of you to ask questions via the chat function at the bottom, anything you may want to know. We've got a really good panel here in terms of developer and legal and sales and mortgage origination to give you all the insights you need and just really use this as a platform. And one of the key things, we will also be doing recording. And what will happen is tomorrow, we will circulate the full recording so you have the ability to be able to relook at anything that you may have missed, but also pass it on to any friends or family who need to be able to see the product or want to see the product or would like any more information. So without further ado, I'm just going to welcome the various different panel members. I think firstly, Johan, who's the Development Director for Feenstra Group. How's Johan? And Rikus, Basson, who's a development consultant for Waterkloof Park, who many of you have dealt with already, possibly, and if you haven't, you hopefully will over the course of the next day or so. We'll post all Rikus' details in the course of the chat, but hello, Rikus.
Hi, Steve.
And then Charlene from Veik, thanks for joining us. She's the ooba Regional Sales Manager.
Hi, everybody.
And obviously, I think we all have a wonderful relationship with ooba. They are the largest mortgage originator in the country, and there's been a strategic partnership with them on this project from day one. And I think during the course of this evening session to really give you a lot of insight into why that helps so much from a purchasing perspective and when it comes to securing finance and the values of using an originator as opposed to potentially your own bank in some instances. And then Johan, Heunis, who many of you know will know as a rugby legend, who's the director of Heunis, Straeuli and Mkhwanazi, who are the conveyancing attorneys on the project. Hello, Johan.
Hi, Stefan.
So we're going to jump straight into it. Johan, I know you do like talking a lot, so we're going to kick off with you first. But I think it's always really important to understand from a developer's perspective. Is whenever anyone's developing, they have a choice of areas and locations and sites and various different components to it, and what the vision is behind Waterkloof Park and why you guys have chosen to embark on what you have.
Yeah, Steph, I think when we looked at Waterkloof Park, our vision was to really go out to develop a unique development within a well-established neighborhood, take hands with the local community, the church, which have actually started this project more than 30 years ago. And we are very proud to have been able to bring this product to the market, and thereby also bring diversity into the suburb in terms of the properties available, and inadvertently subscribing to the 15-minute neighborhood principle.
And
so most of our, say again?
No, sorry, continue.
So most of what we want to achieve here is also to look at the joining hands with the community, and also making sure that when we do developments, that even the people that lives in the developments afterwards really integrate with the social fabric of that community. So in this case, we believe that Waterkloof Park has achieved that goal tremendously.
And Johan, I mean, we obviously know that Waterkloof is a very sought after location. I mean, how important is the site itself and the proximity to the amenities around it?
Yeah, so I think Waterkloof, the Waterkloof Park area, the Waterkloof Reach and Heights, all of these suburbs are well-established suburbs, and they definitely have been able to develop the characteristics needed for people to be close to everything, from schools, shopping centers, places of work like the Menlo Node, the Club Avenue where you've got your the village, which is a nice restaurant area. We've got the golf course close by. The Pretoria Country Club is close to us. There are a number of like the Wolversprite, the cycling area. There's the dog park in Waterkloof as well. So yeah, in terms of location, our idea always is to integrate within existing neighborhoods. That brings so much more advantages to the people going to live in those suburbs in the future.
And I think just to also add what you're saying about the 15-minute neighborhood, I mean, I know we do a lot of research on an ongoing basis, and it's quite fascinating. That whole model is based on this whole concept of new urbanism and modeled on cities like Paris and Milan and Seattle and New York. And the whole concept there is green spaces and proximity to where you want to live, work, enjoy, etc., etc., and where nothing's more than 15 minutes walking or cycling. And I think it is a huge component, having unpacked it and just understanding how much there is in the surrounds and how it really does lend itself to a modern 15-minute neighborhood.
Yeah, and if you really think about it, if you look at this Waterkloof Park land, for example, this was the most that we've paid per unit for an opportunity with, since our last project. So in Pretoria, I can tell you that this land cost is maybe the most expensive land cost, but we were still able to bring affordability to it because we didn't have to duplicate a lot of the green and the green spaces and all the integrated amenities into the development, which you find these days that you have to do, especially on the periphery areas within larger nodal developments. So we are quite happy to say, yes, we've paid a lot for the land and for the opportunities, but the end user saves at the end of the day that they can still be well located in a central within a central node, and then also making sure that they can have access to things that we could never really provide them on such a compact site.
And to those of you watching, I mean, I think it goes out saying that we're all sitting in various components of the development. Charlene's sitting in a hot air balloon, but in terms of the rest of us, Johann's lurking outside the front gate. Rikus obviously in one of the living areas and so forth. And I think that's a lot of the visuals will come through if you've got access to material and so forth. And the guys have done an exceptional job at how to bring in that secure living within the address that we've spoken about. And Johan, before I bring in the rest of the team, I think maybe just to talk about the unique features of the development and also the apartment configurations.
Yeah, so our brief to development team was guided by sustainability and the 15-minute neighborhood, of course. But to achieve these goals, we've asked the engineers to design cost-effective PV panel systems that supports the geyser systems in the day. We looked at addressing some of our infrastructure shortcomings within South Africa, like power, and for that we've provided a full backup power generator to the site. We've looked at gas burners in the kitchens to make sure that if Eskom leaves you, that you don't drop yourself, you can still make a nice hot meal. And yes, we're also looking to include a water backup system currently, which is just a bit of a price challenge. But yeah, there's some of the items that we're trying to achieve and bring it in as soon as we see there's a bigger need for that.
So Rikus, I mean, I think the key question is always what drives this market and what's the demand been like so far?
Yeah, so if we take a look at the Waterkloof Park area, I mean, it's transformed so much over the last few years. Whereas, I mean, a couple of years ago, if you'd look at Waterkloof Park, you'd think more family, suburban living, etc. But because of the Menlo Node and the surrounding areas, how they've changed, it's become a lot more appealing to clients, looking to buy for themselves to live in as like a student, a young professional, somebody looking at scaling down. And No, the Waterkloof Park development is in such an incredible area, locality-wise. I mean, you are literally, as you guys touched on just now, 15 minutes walking or driving distance from various amenities like restaurants, shopping centers, medical centers, dog parks, golf clubs. So in terms of a development in the area, this is absolutely great locality.
And then, just in terms of, just to recap, in terms of pricing and unit types.
All right. So in terms of pricing and unit types, we're looking at 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartments. You're looking at 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartments, 2-bed, 2-bathroom apartments, as well as your 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartments. 1-bedrooms, you're looking in the vicinity of about 1.1 to 1.3 million rand. Your 2-bed, 1-bathroom apartments, you're looking in the vicinity of early 1.8, so your 1.820s to about 1.880s. 2-bed, 2-baths, still under the 2 million rand mark. You had a 1.979 up to about 2.039, and then your 3-bedrooms, you range from 2.7 up to 3.5 million. So it is, in terms, sorry, Steph, if you're looking out of an investor's point, getting into the Waterkloof market at just over 1.1 million for a 1-bedroom, that is incredible value.
Yeah, and if I can come in there, Steph, not just is the price points for the units, but the levies are very affordable. We've worked hard to design the development with sustainability in mind, which has the direct knock-on effect onto the levies. We believe it's a market-leading levies. Rikus, if you can maybe just give us a range for levies.
Yeah, sure, Johan. So on your 1-bedrooms, you'll be looking at under the 500 rand mark on a levy. This will obviously differ slightly depending on size of the apartment. On a 2-bedroom, you're looking at about 800, 780 up to about 800, 900 rand. And then your 2-bedrooms, larger units, you'll be getting to the 900 rand mark. And then your 3-bedrooms, 1,200 to 1,300 rand mark, more or less.
And I think obviously we know that generally when the schemes are smaller, when we're looking at 69 units, the levies are generally higher, and that's obviously sometimes the benefit of buying into a bigger estate or development when you want to be more private and smaller. So to get the levies down, I think it's a huge achievement and a massive value add. And Rikus, so Kendall has asked questions, and I really encourage anyone else who has got questions to go. She's asked about the levies, which I think you've covered. And then just from a pet policy perspective, how important has that been?
So, yeah, if I go back to what I mentioned earlier, you do get a lot of guys, single people, especially young ladies wanting to stay in one of our properties. They generally want their fur babies with them. So we are pet friendly, 100%. We do allow small dogs in our development.
Perfect. And I'm going to move on to Charlene in a second, but Rikus, just one more question. And I know there's a lot of research done up front. How much of that has defined the product?
Well, quite a bit, Steph. A very good question. So in terms of the market research that we've done, we could find quite a lot of valuable information in terms of who your buyer's market will be in this development. And what we found is that our product caters for both, like I mentioned earlier, end user and investor, because we want to cater for, your single person, somebody wanting to scale down, your family orientated buyer, so that has helped us quite immensely in terms of that. We've also found that there's quite an uptake in single persons wanting to buy property in the area, up to 49%. And whereas your family is about around the 42% mark. So that has helped us quite a bit in the design of our product. Yes, you can have a 1-bedroom, but you can have a great flowing 1-bedroom, which we have been able to do, or you can have a 1-bedroom that you really feel you are in a 1-bedroom.
Got it. That's perfect. And Johan, I see you want to see you raise your hand there.
I just want to add two things, and I think that is one is our parking and garage policy. We've worked very hard to ensure that there's adequate parking. We're looking at 2 parking bays per 3 bedrooms, 2 parking bays for 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, all covered, included in the price. And then we're also looking at one parking for a single bedroom unit, and we're looking at 2 parking bays for 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom, as long as there's enough parking. What we've added to this project is additional garages, which can be bought separately, and we've identified the location of those garages as well. And then on the storage space, we've integrated storage areas in the total design of the project over 2 blocks of the 6. So as we know, people have got a lot of stuff that they want to store, and you don't have to go off-site. You can buy a storage unit, you can buy 2 storage units, you can buy 3, 4 garages. It is all about what you need. As long as you don't start a storage on site, we're quite happy.
And then in terms of questions that are coming through, Charlene, Octavia, we're going to get to your questions in a second, very relevant about security and about the reservation fee, which we'll touch on. Just an interesting stat to mention, and it is part of our investor pack, which actually has been shared on the chat for any of you who want to go in and go onto it's Waterkloof Park, etc. info portal, and it's got everything. It's got our interactive module, it's got the brochure and so forth for you to look. But just the interesting thing is that in terms of Waterkloof as a greater area, the average price per square meter, and within newer developments, we also know it's quite new. It is quite unique to have new sectional type developers in the area, have appreciated about 25% per annum year on year since 2017, which is a very, very significant stat. If you look at the national average of housing inflation currently for non-coastal properties, about 4.9%. So it's very significant, and it also shows the benefits of getting in early when you get an off plan and so forth, and being able to check and select up front. But also what's quite interesting is the average price per square exceeds the neighboring areas by 38%, and just alludes to or speaks to what both Rikus and Johan have said. Rikus, I'm going to come back to you because I want to know what your top picks are. That's my most important question always. The architect and the sales guy, what would they buy if they could? But I think, Charlene, just to bring you in from a mortgage origination perspective, I don't think enough people understand the value of a mortgage originator. And a lot of people, especially in this market, will have private bankers. Why is it beneficial to use ooba in the process of purchasing a property?
Thanks, Stefan. I think many people have a total misperception of what mortgage origination is all about. And our main aim is to give a client to be capable of making an informed decision. So we have skilled staff working on property finance in the industry alone, but that helps us to get quotations from the banks where the clients can then compare and make sure that they have all the options on the table and then make the informed decision on their investment that they have. So with 9 institutions that we can approach, depending on the criteria of the clients and the banks themselves as well, I think out of 9 banks, you would be able to make that informed decision of which one is giving you the best interest rates, which one is giving you the best options. And then as well, our service is totally free. Many people think there is a fee onto that. It is totally free, and there is no obligation towards ooba.
And Charlene, I mean, the normal perception, I guess, would be that your own bank will give you the best rates. Is that correct?
Everybody has that, where they think their own bank would give them the best rates. I think that is where everybody makes the mistake. I've been in this industry for 17 years, and I always say, do you always just go to Checkers to purchase your bread? No, you compare it everywhere to see which one is the best offering. So no, your bank will not give you the best one. And I think that is where multiple submissions to various banks gives you the option to fight interest rates, because that is what we are there for, fighting for the best interest rates. and making sure at the end the offer that you decide to take is the best one on the table.
And then I know earlier we spoke about the trend of semigration, which normally is people moving to coastal areas. It's quite interesting what your take is on semigration and how it benefits a development in an area like this.
Yes, so I always say there's different ways of looking at stuff. So semigration is on everybody's lips currently because it seems like everybody's traveling out of Gauteng. Many people, I'm not sure if all understand semigration, but that is where if I am allowed to work from home, I would rather decide to go and work from where it is beautiful and relaxing for me. The view is pretty, but also you stand the risk where the companies could say you have to come back. So instead of the people selling their properties or giving up everything in Gauteng and moving to the Limpopos or Western Capes, they are keeping properties here in Gauteng. Waterkloof Park is a fantastic investment where, should it come where you need to come back to Gauteng and work back at the offices, this is the best thing to have. We all know everything, COVID has taught us that everything can change overnight. So having an investment property like this, no matter what comes your way, you are sorted.
And then just quickly, the process, and I'm going to go through the purchasing process with Johan in a second, but you've signed your agreement, you've paid your deposit, which we'll cover. What is the process then in terms of getting your documents to ooba, and what do you need to submit?
So document-wise, it depends on client to client. So for normal salary earners, it would be your salary advice, your 3 months bank statements, and a copy of your ID. We've got application forms where either you can digitally complete it or you can still in a manual way complete it on your side. But that is where the experts of the property finance in ooba comes in, where they complete everything on your behalf. You just submit the documents. If you are a commission earner, obviously it becomes a bit more intense of what documents would need to be sent. That would be your 6 months pay slips, 6 months bank statements, just to make sure that the commissions are everything used as well. And then obviously self-employed, but that's on its own. Each client and their self-employed package is looked totally different. So that we will take on individual base.
Perfect, thanks. Johanna, a question that's come through from Octavia. Sorry, actually, Charlene, in terms of the reservation fee, the question is the initial 20,000 Rand reservation fee part of the unit price? And if you can just cover that, and then I'm going to ask you about what the process is to purchase.
Yes, the initial, sorry, are you talking to me or Johan Heunis?
To Johan, oh, so Johan Heunis, sorry.
Okay, no, sorry, Johan.
No, the situation is basically as follows, that firstly, you've got to get into touch with Rikus Basson to get all the information with regards to the development and the different units available. And if you are interested, then you will sign a reservation agreement with him and the developer. And once that is signed, you've got to pay a reservation fee of 20,000 Rand. But this reservation fee will then have to be followed up by a deed of sale within 7 days from that date of the signature of that agreement. But your reservation fee will be regarded as part of the purchase price, and it's not an add-on cost to the purchase price.
Perfect. And I think obviously just to also emphasize that in most development cases, the deposit amount is normally 10% of the purchase price. So it is quite a refreshing thing to have a deposit, which, like you say, is a non-refundable deposit that goes towards your purchase price, but is a very, very small percentage of the overall purchase price, which means you then have the ability
Correct.
to leverage the balance of your purchase price to getting your financing. Johan, I know you've kindly put your hand up again.
So one of the things that we've been able to achieve with our funding partner RMB Bank has been to convince them that people want to be at Waterkloof Park, that the 20,000 Rand reservation fee and no deposit was in fact a effective way of allowing a larger group of people to participate within the property market, especially the focus market segment that was mentioned by Rikus, being the investor, being the first-time home buyers, being the young professionals, the young families. We want to make it easy for them, and we have gone to great lengths to put a lot of our balance sheet on as security on this project to make it easier for the buyer. And I'm sure Charlene can maybe expand on the role of deposits in today's funding environment from a bank point of view.
Hi, yes, Johan. Normally, when you can give a deposit when it comes to financing a property, it shows the bank as well that your ability to repay. So always any deposit that you can show towards the banks is in a positive way to you, and it has a massive impact on your interest rates. And we all know with the interest rates currently on the rise, the lower you can get it now, the better for you as well. So deposits is always fantastic to have.
Yeah, and so what we've tried to do was to not rather us taking the deposit for the main funding on the project, but rather giving that advantage to the buyer themselves to give that deposit to their bank as a way of securing their funding.
Yes.
And then Johan, Johan Heunis, in terms of costs, in terms of obviously when you are purchasing development off plan or into development, there are no transfer duties, but maybe just to discuss any transfer costs that people would need to budget for, but also just in terms of understanding the parking. So you've got covered parking, is that included in your purchase price? And then when it comes to things like storage, how do you have the ability to add that within your section?
Well, I think that's one of the attractions here, that you can get now ownership of your unit that you reside in, but you can get ownership of a garage, of a storage area, and they will all be different units. So it improves your security and it improves the opportunity of getting finance on it. But there will, apart from that, there will be exclusive use areas for parking purposes as well. And so you can reserve all those things, but the purchase price that you then enter into with the developer will include everything. Also the transfer costs, also the fees of the cession of the exclusive use areas into the name of the buyer. The only thing that the buyer will have to cater for is if they need finance and obtain a loan, and you have to incur then bond costs. They will be liable for the bond costs, but all the other costs are included in the purchase price.
Thanks, Johan. And I guess a big thing there is how do you bring the barriers to entry down as much as possible, bring those upfront costs down as much as possible. Johan, do you proceed?
Just clarify, the costs for the garage and the storage are, even though they're different units, they are also charged separately. And their costs, like their transfer fees, their VAT, the agent commission, everything is included in the unit price. So if you buy a unit, a garage, and a storeroom, all of those costs will be covered from our side. Then the exclusive use areas, being the undercover parking and the unit, will then be included into the physical residential units price. So that's how the pricing is then just divided up, just for clarity's sake.
And Johan, just a question from Octavia. It's good evening. Will the development have physical security present at the gate, or will it be managed remotely?
We've opted for because it's a 69 unit development. We've opted for no physical security on the unit, on the development. We're making provision for biometric access locks at all the units, main entrances. We're making provision for CCTV, for electric fencing, and also there's only one point of going in and out, with the parking area situated to the back portion of the development. So The physical design is also of such nature that the vehicle parking area is not visible to a large degree from the road area. So we believe that combination already adds a lot to the security. And because of the high escalations on security services, we make use of security service over a number of our developments, and they are escalating at an average of 8% per year, much higher than CPI was. And we do not foresee that they will give up that margin very soon because of the regulations that govern the security system. So we have opted to go and design it more, one can say, smartly, and therefore passing that saving through to the levies.
And then Johan, Heunis, I mean, I think a lot of people on this call will have been exposed to levies at certain points, but we will naturally have first-time owners. Maybe just if you could clarify, when you're looking at a levy in the context of a sectional type of development, what it includes and what and basically what it covers.
Yeah, so there are basically two things that we've got to take into consideration. The one is rates and taxes, which is payable to the local authority. And in addition to that, there are levies that is payable to the body corporate. Now, the body corporate is established there to manage the whole scheme. And they've got to basically pay the rates and taxes on the common property, that is the areas of the development which is not specifically owned, like a specific section or a unit. That is regarded as common property, but there are rates and taxes payable in that regard, but they are also responsible for the maintenance and the management and also the insurance of the building. So they've got to establish a fund to look after these things, and each owner will have to contribute in a way to enable the body corporate to do their job. And this is done by way of a levy, and the levy is determined by the participation quota, the PQ, of that section. And that is basically a specific formula in terms whereof they look at the size of the unit compared to the size of the whole development. And in that relation, the owner will then make a contribution to the expenses of the whole development on a pro rata basis. So, yeah, they will be liable for that levy on a monthly basis.
Perfect. And then Johan, so just Johan Heunis again, there's just a question from Charlene Smith, just to confirm that her question are the estimated prices for the units inclusive of that? If you can just confirm that they are inclusive of that.
Yes, they are.
Perfect, thanks. And then Johan du Plessis, just a question from Stefan. Will there be backup power such as solar for all the security systems and I guess for other basic utilities within the building? Johan, you just
what we've seen was that solar can only provide backup power, as one can say, during the day when the sun is shining. So we would in all probability have a UPS system as a backup system for the solar, for the security systems, and charge that via a solar panel just to make sure that we do have continuous recharging capability throughout the day. However, we do have 100% generator power backup on the site, and we've got a number when we've got the also a PV panel system supporting the geyser through the day when the sun is shining.
Got it, thank you. And then Rikus, a question from Kendall, basically saying that the units look spacious. Please confirm the average square meterage for the unit. If you can maybe just go through what the different square meterages are and how that's been configured.
Sure. All right. So on a one bedroom, you'll be looking at roughly about 43 square meters. This will include your patio space. All right. On a 2-bedroom, you'll be looking in the vicinity of about 70 to 76 squares, also including your patio space. So patio space on a 2-bedroom is roughly about 8 square meters. On your 3-bedroom, they'll range from about 110 square meters up to 158 square meters.
Perfect, thanks. Rikus, most important question, if you are an investor or if you are buying to live, where do you select if you have the ability to select before anyone else?
All right, so that's always a tricky question. So if I had to buy for myself as a primary buyer, I would definitely look at a 2-bed, 2-bath or a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom property. On the investment side, I would definitely look at a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom property. Purely for the reason, you know, there is, as I mentioned earlier, there's quite a market for the single person. So a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom will definitely be easy to let out. And also your 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment would be ideal for either 2 flatmates or a young couple. So I cannot see that would be difficult to rent out.
And if one had to look at the layout, I mean, there is that interactive module that buyers have the ability to view prior to launch and would go through with you. 6 different blocks. How do you differentiate between each one? What does each one offer?
So if you look at the different blocks, well, look, I mean, in terms of the blocks, they've got something of everything. So we've got 1-bedrooms, 2-bedrooms, and 3-bedrooms. This will come down to which side of the development you want to be. Do you want to be on Mkhwanazi side, which is a slightly more quieter road, or are you more open to have views on Delhi Road? So Delhi Road will have more views to the mainland area. So this will come down to personal preference. Me personally, I would look in the range from block 1 to 4. I like more quiet, more private. I see Johan has got his hand up.
Very politely.
You did say I'm allowed to share, so I'm allowed to participate. So what I'm saying is that what the Rikus actually touched on here was the views. We've got a 5-story height restriction, so you look at it around about 20 meters from the current road surface area. You're getting unobstructed views over the Waterkloof Park towards the mainland area, over the Ashley Gardens area, as well as towards your Brooklyn and the greater Waterkloof area. So it's the additional height that we've been able to secure, and the add-on to the website where you can choose your unit and reserve it will give you a great view from what you can expect to see from your unit balcony or bedroom window.
And I think just to add that it is part of the chat, but on that info portal, there are a couple of things. One is you have the ability to go through the pre-qualification process with ooba in terms of their OBI to see your affordability, which is a very, very useful tool to be able to do. And that almost reverse engineers the process in terms of being able to select a unit that you have affordability for, which is always quite important. But then that interactive module, as we call it, gives you the ability to be able to go into every different unit and see what the different views are and go through into the reservation process. But it's something the sales team can talk through to you, but it's a really, really useful tool where you can also see the different configurations, the different price points, the different unit types, and really does allow you to be able to explore the entire product from the comforts of your living room or whatever it may be. But the big thing is to get in touch with Rikus between now and launch. And Rikus, what is the process now if someone wants to purchase?
If somebody would like to purchase, they are more than welcome to contact me directly on my cell phone number, which I think the team will give out, or via email, and we will then I'll give them a call, we'll have a chat, see what they want, what their needs are. Then we will complete a reservation agreement, which they will send me the signed documentation as well as proof of payment of the reservation deposit. and the apartment will be reserved. On the weekend of the launch, which is the Saturday, they will be invited to come through to site, and we will then complete and sign the actual sales agreement. They will then also we'll hand them a list of documents that will be needed, and then Charlene and her team will then apply for financing, and we will start that whole process.
And just to confirm, 40 days to get your bond secured?
Correct, 100% within 40 days.
Johan?
Yes, so all of those people living in Pretoria East that needs a passport to come to Waterkloof, you can throw that passport away. Come buy a unit here with us. We are in the nice node of Pretoria, where the Waterkloof area is, and you know, come and spend some time with us on the launch, and we would love to see everybody there. And one of my biggest things that I really enjoy living in the area, it's my area, so I'm very proud of the Waterkloof area, is just the amazing feeling of general people wanting to live a good life. You know, you see people jogging, you see people walking with the dogs, and people walking with the kids. You know, you see a lot of activity and outdoor activity on a day-to-day basis. So I'm very excited to launch this project. And we've worked hard on it. We've had to go through 1 MPT, 2 rezoning processes, and I can assure any and all buyers that you are definitely buying into a development that would not be able to be done by any other development group than the Feenstra group. And we're not boasting when we say that. We say that because we take every project that we do, we handle it as good as we can, and we put all the resources and time in it to make sure we bring great properties at great locations, and we want to give people value for money.
And if you could just touch on the timelines. We obviously launched to the public at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. From a construction perspective, what do you anticipate?
Well, you know, we're going to sell out everything on the 17th September, according to Rikus here. So, you know, if I work from the 17th of September, we can cut 8 months off the whole time frame. But, you know, if that doesn't happen, the time frames are looking as follows. 17th September, we want to launch our marketing timeline. We don't want to extend over an 8-month period. The reason why we've got the 8 months is a combination of giving enough ample time for marketing, but we can always pull that in. As I said, if Rikus sells everything out, then we can pull that 8 months much closer. I would say we can't start sooner than 4 months due to the municipality's processes. Then if we keep to the 8 months, we will have then construction in April, May. We will finish in January 2024, and we hope to do our first batch of transfers in February 2024. If everything goes well, and as God forbid.
And I'm not a salesman like Rikus, but one I think the important thing is to take into consideration the time frame from now until effectively February 2024, based on the capital appreciation that's been seen in the area, in terms of being able to lock in the value of your purchase price now, and not having to pay anything, borrowing your deposit, and being able to benefit from the capital appreciation between now and transfer. And I think we all know that is the big benefit of investing off plan with a developer that you know that delivers and follows through on what they promise. And I think when you combine all those elements together with a great team, it makes for something quite unique. But everyone, we said we're going to be 45 minutes. We are pretty much 45 minutes. I think we've covered most of it. And thank you very much to everyone who's had questions. We can always go on for long periods, but I think we know everyone has time constraints during the course of the week. So I just want to thank everyone for being part of this. Like we said, we will do. We have recorded this, and we'll be circulating that to the entire Leads database tomorrow. We have the ability, but I really encourage you to contact Rikus directly. His contact details are on the chat, so you can set up your engagement with him. We all know you get in first, you benefit, you pick first, you pick the best units. and really capitalize on an opportunity before we actually have all the public arrive on Saturday at 9 o'clock. And that is the benefit of having attended the webinar and having made the effort. But again, we thank you all for your time. Panelists, thank you very much. Really value all your input.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
And hope everyone has a great evening.
Thanks very much. Same to you, Stefan.
Cheers, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.